Let's see, what else do we have? Is there anything more humorous than reading a paper on the radio? It's not humorous, it's sardonic, whatever. I find it entertaining. I don't want to just do the internet anymore. Nurses to walk out over benefits and patient care. Again, another strike? Another strike. But where's all the money supposed to come from? Just charge the illegals $25 every time they come in with a cold or a flu. Then the nurses could go on another vacation. 855-400-SAVAGE is the phone number for anywhere in the United States of America. All right, I'm going to break down and go to the internet. Time to go to the internet. Let's start with the site I look at first in the morning next to my own email, which is the Drudge Report. Hamas leader dares Israel to invade. Or are they making a mistake? They're making a real mistake. Poll says 45% would rather opt out of Christmas. Anti-Thanksgiving event sparks controversy on campus. Judge denies nativity displays in Santa Monica. That I read to you already. A TSA says cakes and pies are subject to additional screening at the airport. That's interesting, cakes and pie, because that's so American. I mean, what's more American than apple pie? So that way Big Sis can now stick her fingers in your pie. In addition to stripping nuns in wheelchairs at airports, she can now ruin the apple pie you're bringing to your nephew. Let's see what else. They got whiter and more male. The lunatic who runs the Democrat in Florida, the one with the hyphenated fake name, both names fake. Democratic National Committee Chair, the lunatic, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, said the Republican Party got whiter and more male, while the Democratic caucus is majority, minority, and female. Take a good look when the House convenes after this next Congress is sworn in at what our side of the aisle looks like versus what the Republican side looks like, said the Viper. I mean, they got whiter and more male, and we now have a majority, minority, and female Democratic caucus. First time in history, said Wasserman Schultz. At a discussion hosted by the Emily's List, a left-wing fanatic group known for supporting pro-abortion female candidates. She said when women run for office, Democrats win. Well, it worked for Imelda Marcos. It worked for Nancy Pelosi. It certainly worked for you, Wasserman Schultz. Then she goes on. We have to double down in 2014. We've got to make sure we recruit more women for office, because it's not just a slogan that when women run, women win. They do. And when women run, Democrats win, said Wasserman Schultz. So let me ask you something. Are women necessarily kinder, gentler, and more benign and better leaders than men? Is that what she's implying? Or it's just that physically there's a reason to elect women? What is the actual rationale for electing women? Does anyone have an answer to that question? I don't quite understand it. I mean, I love women. I loved my mother, loved my wife, loved my daughter. But what do you mean women? What makes a woman sacrosanct? Take a look at this woman, for example. What in the world is wrong with her? This is one of the most, well, let's let it go at that. This woman is an embarrassment to women. Let's put it to you that way. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is an embarrassment to women, is the only thing I can say. But there's no question I can ask you about it either. So we'll go past that story. I don't want to get stuck in it. It's like an intelligence test I took when I was a kid. They told you never get stuck on any question. Remember those 1,000-question tests? That you got puzzled like on question number 39, and you were warned in advance, if you can't answer a question, don't get stuck on it because all the test goes off. I just got stuck on a statement. They got whiter and more male. It was like a bad intelligence test. Because again, liberalism is a mental disorder. Just look at her eyes. If you were to take the eyes of Debbie Wasserman Schultz from a front shot, and you were to go into the archives of mental institutions, I'm sure you could find daguerreotypes on the internet of photos from mental asylums from the 1870s, 80s, and 90s somewhere. And you were to just compare the eyes of Debbie Wasserman Schultz on the left side with the daguerreotypes of mental patients in the 1880s, 1890s. You get the picture? I mean, that certainly would work for me.